Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're making a character interest tier list for Guilty Gear Xrd. If it's your first time watching one of these, what I do is basically try out each of the characters and put them on a tier list based on how likely I am to play them. Strengths and weaknesses aren't necessarily important. I've already played Plus R and Strive, so comparisons will be inevitable. Let's get started. Saul. This iteration is pretty fun. I don't think I could resist the urge to fish for hit with Fafnir. Seeing the opponent tumble across the screen is just really amusing. Dragon Install has its own theme, so it's even cooler than it was already. If he still had Sidewinder, I'd probably play him since I've been practicing the loop in Plus R. Kai. I like characters that can keep the opponent at arm's length. Kai looks like he can do that with his decently ranged attacks and projectiles, but can also be more aggressive when the opportunity pops up. The gate things left behind by his dust attack enhances his projectiles, which is pretty cool, but I know I'd hate trying to set them up in an actual match, though it does make for a good air break. Mei. Hate the sound effect they use for her footsteps. That's enough to drop her down to the bottom of the list. One thing I found interesting about her is a move that's just a dolphin jumping through a hoop. It's a lot more versatile than it sounds. She can use it to travel across the screen quickly, control space, or continue pressure. There's still no chance of me playing her, but it's a neat move, so I thought it was worth mentioning. Milia. Same game plan as always. A demon in the air and uses tandem top after knocking you down to make you block and guess high or low. Something unique to this version of her is her really weird dust attack. She rolls backwards before it hits, so you can use it to make the opponent whiff and immediately follow up with a combo. She requires you to be good in the air, and instant air dashing is significantly more difficult in this game compared to every other I've played so far. If I manage to improve, she might end up higher. Zato. This one's a big fat no. The negative edge stuff isn't an issue, it's the fact that I play him in Strive. Really don't need this version of him messing up my muscle memory. I don't like his normals that much anyway. The shadow attacks are a lot more interesting in Strive. All that said, I do like this Zato's shadow form better since it looks more like a gargoyle. Potemkin. Is it just me or does he look weirdly small in this game? Well, on the plus side, it makes his human rocket move more believable. I can't imagine Strive Potemkin doing that. Although this is the most mobile I've ever seen him, he's still a big, slow, grabby guy with no dash. And I don't like being so much slower than the rest of the cast. Chip. I really hate the way Chip looks in Xrd. It's not even an opinion that was influenced by other games. Some of the faces just look off to me, and it's especially bad here for some reason. Sorry Chip fans. If it's any consolation, I am considering picking him up in Plus R. Faust, the over-the-top ridiculous character. Probably gonna get hated for saying this, but I honestly prefer the Eldritch horror version of him in Strive. The aesthetic is more interesting, plus he can spam item toss. Xrd Faust can't do that. However, he does have a pogo stance, and one of his supers is just a cup game where the penalty for losing is, steep. Faust is always fun. Axel. Not usually my kind of character, but he's got some cool moves, like Sparrowhawk's stance, which lets him juggle opponents from full screen away, or the counter where he throws a flag over your face. The only thing keeping him from strong interest is Flash Circle. I'm not good at using charge moves and combos yet. If I get the hang of it, or it turns out the move isn't as important as I thought, he can move up at a later time. Venom, the assassin pool player. Weird combination, but I like it. You can place cue balls on screen to hit with his other attacks. It looks like it'd be extremely difficult to approach him if you let him set up the field. I'll probably play around with him in casual matches. Slayer. Do Slayer mains just play him because of Pile Bunker? If so, I don't blame him. It's really satisfying to hit with. Unfortunately, Slayer has a teleport dash, which I'm not really a big fan of. Luckily, I don't have to feel bad about placing him low because I prefer his Plus R version anyway. His step move there can cross up the opponent. Ino. After being forced to play her in a Strive tournament, I like her a bit more than I did initially. Her hover dash is still something I'd have a tough time navigating with. It forces you to go up, so you won't be able to duck under some attacks as easily. Of course, it has some advantages as well. Since you're airborne so close to the ground, you can start jumping combos easier. Plus, her musical note can cover her approach since it deals more hits the further it travels. I might pick her up for a bit just so future hover dash characters don't feel so daunting to learn. Bedman. He's one of those characters who really impressed me for how much their gameplay reflects their story. Dude's intelligence is so ridiculously high that his body can't handle his thought processes. You can create copies of himself to replay specials he's already used. His game plan is to overwhelm the opponent, the same way his mind overwhelms his body. Another connection is that he takes a decent amount of brain power to learn. You have to keep track of which specials are ready to replay, where the spawn points are, and know how to use his weird air mobility, which is jump, hit up again, then press the direction you want him to fly to. I know it all becomes muscle memory eventually, but this is too much for me to wrap my head around. Ramlethal. Holy crap, she's got a lot of command normals. Thought they were gonna go through the entire alphabet. I can see what her Strive moveset is derived from. She can set up her swords to lock down the opponent, and she can do it anywhere on the screen, but it's especially effective in the corner. If I can get used to all her different strings, she might be kinda fun. Sin. He's got some of his dad's moves and Saul's reckless just go ham fighting style. This is thanks to his ability to chain specials together at the cost of needing to take an occasional snack break, or he'll become hungry and vulnerable. His combos are impressive to watch, but I don't like the idea of stopping to eat. Elfels. I've heard things about her. Not sure what specifically makes her such a menace, but one thing I noticed is her grenade. It can blow up and hurt her if she's still holding on to it, but after she throws it, it'll only hit the opponent, which means it's great for keeping up block strings. Other than that, she's got two stances with her gun. One's stationary, one's mobile. I don't know how much those contribute to her top tier status, but it probably won't take me long to find out once I start playing other people. Leo. Love his hair in this one. Fitting for a guy with a lion motif. He's known for his aggressive playstyle and back turn stance, which is pretty strong. He can't block, but he's got a really good counter to make up for it. He can also dash through opponents to cross them up. He seems like he'll be really fun to play if I can get used to switching stances. Johnny. He's a cool dude. Normally, quick steps throw me off in a game where everyone else has a run, but here it feels fast enough that it's not too bad. There's not much else to really say about him, he's pretty straightforward. Toss coins at people, level up Mistfinder, and turn your opponent into a racquetball. Jacko. Her game plan is very unique. She sets down houses that spawn minions. If you leave them unchecked, the minions will fill up the screen and it will be almost impossible to escape the corner without burst. If the Jacko knows what they're doing, it'll probably be hard to escape even with burst. It's not really my thing, but I applaud the creativity. Jam. She's so simple I literally couldn't think of anything to say about her. Her specials are straightforward and you can power them up whenever you find the time to. My final thoughts are overall of just, she's cool I guess. Haehyun. If I feel like I didn't see the full picture of a character while trying them out in training mode, I'll hop over to combo trials to see what they can do. I'm really glad I did this for Haehyun because I wanted to like them. They're an interesting character. Girl with some kind of music related power and a mech suit that looks like a wise old martial artist. A great combination of cool and cute. As for their game plan, they've got some things I really like. Number 1, the orbs you have direct control over. Number 2, the wall bouncing. And most importantly, number 3, an air finisher that knocks the opponent to the ground. Raven. Creepy masochist guy. I heard he's pretty good too, and I'm betting it's because of that excitement meter. I'm not sure exactly what it does for him. All it says in the move list is attack will be enhanced if excitement is over 3. He also has really weird dashes. His ground one has a long startup before he actually starts running. His air one makes him swoop down and he can actually hit the opponent with it. It's pretty obvious by now that I'm picky about my dashes, so you know where he's going. Dizzy. I thought she was more of a keep away character at first, but it seems like her ranged options are meant to continue combos or help her approach. I find aggressive lockdown pretty fun. If that's what she does, then I can easily save myself playing her. Baiken. Looks like I'm continuing the trend of weird starting characters. In Strive it was Zato, in Plus R it was Bridget, and for Xrd I decided to play Baiken. Why? Because I like how she can attack from a block with her parry. Baiken is supposedly a difficult character. Most difficult thing I came across was her cannon loop in the corner. After some practice I managed to get it down and I can get 3 shots in pretty consistently. MOM mode, which I've already played an unhealthy amount of, showed me that the combo won't work on every character, so I'll need to find something else to fall back on. Answer. I was always under the impression he was a more comedic character. It was definitely because of the stupid 3-lens glasses. It turns out he's actually kinda cool. He can throw cards on the ground to be a teleport point, or to summon a clone to hit the opponent. He can also spawn floating things to cling to and attack from. Way more fun than I would have guessed. And that's our list. I think the reason there's so few strong interests in this one is because this isn't my first Guilty Gear. The new player wonder is lost at this point. I already have an idea of what I like and don't like, and some characters have more appealing versions in other games. Moving on, I have an announcement. At this point I have so many fighting games I can't really play them all as much as I'd like to, so I came up with an idea. The Training Arc video series. At the beginning of the month I'll put up a poll and have the audience decide which game I'll be focusing on. Then another the next day to determine which character I'll play. The character poll will be done through Google Forms so I don't have to arbitrarily choose 5 for you to pick from. It also allows me to make the selection more of a survey style. I document my progress and enter a tournament at the end of the month to see how much I improved. The format I have in mind will make it easy to work on throughout the month. I'm planning to make a proof of concept video in January, use February to figure out what adjustments I need to make, and start the series proper in March. I've also got a Patreon set up for anyone who wants to support the channel. Anyone that donates gets their name featured in the credits of every Training Arc video. If anyone happens to join before the first episode, they'll get a permanent spot in the Founding Donors section, as a show of thanks for believing in the idea. At the very least, if you have even a vague interest in seeing how it turns out, consider subscribing so you don't miss when it's posted. That's all for this video. Cue the outro.